And good Saturday morning. A wet Saturday morning, but it is Saturday morning nonetheless.
A big Saturday for many things, sports-wise.
Is it loaded? Is it one of the best of the year?
Well, yeah, you got the World Series Game 6.
That's always something that don't last but 2 Saturdays. Didn't they play on Saturday last week? Yeah, so it don't always last 2 Saturdays.
Right.
But, yeah, that's something that we get for 2 Saturdays a year most years.
Biggest
the World
college
Series.
game day of the season, arguably.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
Particularly in the SEC.
Yeah.
It's real big.
2 big matchups there. You also got a big matchup in the ACC, which is not that many, so be happy that we get one. What's the Big Ten matchup of the day?
Don't really think we have a stellar one. Everybody's just waiting for Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As usual.
And the World Series would have been or could have been Game 7 tonight if it wasn't for a rain out.
Is that the way it was?
It would have been
scheduled?
Game 7,
So, okay.
yeah.
So they just moved everything back a day, gave them a day off to travel and everything. That's good. I mean, why do they need to be in a rush?
Now, there might not have been a Game 7, but
I guess the only
there
thing
might not be one.
only thing you need to be in a rush for is, we're just a couple weeks away from spring training. So
Yeah.
seem to be drawing closer and closer. Is from the time you report, well, the NBA's got to be the shortest off season.
Yeah.
I think I answered my own question before I even asked it.
No doubt.
From the time you end, if you play in the NBA Finals,
Yeah.
till you
Well,
play.
that's what, late June, mid to late June.
Yeah. Does that sound right, Brad?
Yeah.
It's always been that way too, you know. And then you play games in October. Real games.
Real games.
Real games in October. So, but you know what? I guess I'll say this about the NBA. If you're going to play in the NBA and run up and down that court for, 9 months, you might as well go ahead and do it for 12, because the last thing you want to do is get a little bit out of shape and then try to get out there and catch up with everybody else, because it's got to be the most draining, I don't know what other way to put it, draining, grueling, whatever. If you play a lot,
Yeah.
if you're a bench guy that makes, what are some of these numbers now? $20 million a year. You come in and average 2 points a game, make $20 million a year.
Well, that's why
you got it made.
That's why the big stars are only playing 50, 60 games, not 82, right? They're cruising.
Yeah, I guess so. Does that make a difference? Does that help on the wear and the tear of the body? And the first thing always comes to mind when the World Series ends, they jokingly say sometimes, and pitchers and catchers will be reporting in so many weeks or months or whatever, because they go in February, right?
Yeah, I think it is February.
Sometime in February. If you had to say, Mike, you're the you like to come up with storylines or headlines or something. We're 5 games in. We've got at least one more to go. The Astros are up 3-2. What would be the headline you'd go with after 5 games? I mean, what's been the storyline in this World Series? At one time, I thought it was like both teams are winning the games, but they're not close. I mean, but that changed. That changed with Game 5 the other night. Game 5 was
nail biter.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And what a catch in center field to basically save the day. What was the guy's name that made that catch for the
McCormick?
McCormick. Yeah, that was, on the run up against oddly enough, a chain link fence. They've got a chain link fence in front of the wall in Philadelphia. Is there a reason for that? I mean, that's seems kind of dangerous and easy to get.
Well, they used to have a hill in center field. It went uphill.
I'd rather have the chain link
the
fence.
wall.
Houston used to do that too. At one.
Yeah, that's right. I'm thinking about Houston, not Philly. Okay. I'm thinking about Houston.
Yeah, Houston definitely. When it was at that time Enron Park, I think. What's it called now? Minute Maid, or is that somewhere else? I don't know why Minute Maid.
That sounds right. I think
Minute Maid came
Maid
to mind. And
it was Enron back then.
I don't even know if the name of the Philly Stadium. I hadn't known the name of Philly Stadium since the Vet.
Me neither.
When they played everything there.
It's something Bank, isn't it? Something Bank.
TD.
Park.
That's what the Eagles is called. Their stadium.
Is
TD.
Citizens.
Touchdown.
Citizens Bank.
Could be.
Is it Citizens?
Yeah.
Okay. Banks
Yeah, what's
have their name in on a lot, don't they?
What's that song by? Is it Larry Gatlin? Going back to Houston.
Never heard that one
Never
before.
Heard that one.
I don't know
Would
where
be
you
my
get that.
head.
I don't know where you get the going back part. You add to it. That's
No,
lyrics.
but there is a song, Houston.
Yeah.
It's kind of a country.
It's Larry
tune.
Gatlin.
Larry
But I don't
Gatlin,
think it
okay.
says.
It doesn't
I don't
say
think it says going
to
back.
Houston. Okay.
It's going back to Cali,
Yeah.
and that's somebody totally different. That's not Larry Gatlin. That is what's his name?
Notorious
The actor.
B.I.G. sings that one. Going back to Cali.
No, that's not who I'm picturing, is it? It's the guy that's on the cop shows. LL Cool J. Isn't that him that does that?
He might have had one too.
Okay.
Okay.
Isn't that what he does now? Cop shows? I don't watch cop shows.
Yeah, he does.
so-
Yeah, LL Cool J.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of that is, but he's had a heck of a career.
Very varied career.
On
I mean,
on top
done
of his
everything.
singing career, and a really likable guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just
Hey, he's also hosted. He hadn't hosted the Oscars, but he's hosted some big
Yeah,
awards
Grammys and
events,
stuff like
Grammys
that.
and stuff,
now we
yeah.
probably got all that wrong. He probably didn't even do it. Lenny says Citizen Bank Park in Philadelphia.
Citizen
One thing I was
Park.
glad to see, even though I hate the Astros, is Verlander get a win
win,
in
yeah.
the World Series because I do like Verlander.
But do you not like Dusty Baker?
I don't care. I mean, I don't care
He's-
either
he's-
way. I don't dislike.
I guess
him,
he
but
won one with the
I don't
Dodgers,
like him.
right? As a player, who did he win one with as a player? Because they keep saying he's not won one as a manager. You know, which means he's won one as a player.
Yeah,
There you go, Lenny. Who did he win?
Did
one
he
with?
once
Was it
manage
Dodgers?
the Giants?
Yes.
And they
The
got
reason
the
I know
World
he
Series,
managed the
but didn't
Giants
win
is
it.
I remember J.T. Snow snatching Dusty's son up at home plate, who was the bat boy, before a collision took
Yeah.
place at home plate. They still show that video cut quite often. Wonder how old that kid is now. 20?
well, that would have been in 2002, 2003.
So probably over 20.
Yeah,
He's over
late
20.
20s.
Yeah. I bet he gets a kick out of that video as well. Who did Dusty Baker win a World Series with as a player? All I remember him playing on, and I may have this wrong, is Atlanta and Los Angeles.
It was the Dodgers.
Was it? Okay. What
Eight-
year would that have been?
81.
Okay. So he did win one as a player, which is good. But, you know, he's been managing so long. I would like to have, you know, and he's not going to get many more chances, let's face it. So I'd like to see him
He's
get
73.
one as a manager. And you guys know I like Bryce Harper. I just like the way he plays the game. He goes at it hard. You know, he's today's version to me of a Pete Rose, hopefully without the gambling addiction.
yeah,
But
and hopefully without a career-ending injury for a catcher like Ray Fosse.
you know, this was something that came up. I got a reminder on my phone to remind me to mention this. This is something that came up while we're talking World Series. The other night, on Thursday night, you had Houston taking on Philadelphia in two major sports at the same time.
That's right.
You had the World Series going on with the Phillies and the Astros, while on Amazon, you had the Eagles taking on the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Has that ever happened before? Where the World Series matchup and an NFL game
We're the
matchup
same.
had ever happened. Lenny says it is the Dodgers as well. Has that ever happened before when you had that, the World Series and the NFL at the same? Now you got to remember, Thursday night football hasn't been around a long time,
No.
but a lot of the World Series games are played on Sunday as well. So you could have World Series going on with, you know, NFL Sunday football. But, you know, they said, I heard it, I was watching a little bit of Pro Football Talk, which I love, which is on Peacock. Mike, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you a secret. It's free. I watch Peacock every morning because.
You said the magic word.
I watch Peacock every morning because you got, I shouldn't say this, right? I'm at school. I try to watch Peacock every morning and watch the last little bit of Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio. Sometimes he has Peter King. Sometimes he has Chris Sims. They're all good, really good people.
Well, I love to hear Peter King.
Yeah. But Peter King was on there yesterday. Now I lost my train of thought. I forget where I was going with that. But the question is, though, has that ever happened before? Because I looked it up.
Has it?
7 times.
Oh.
7 times. I think that was the 7th time that you've had the World Series matchup.
Be the same as the NFL matchup.
Same cities. Yep, same
cities.
cities, or at least areas involved. You know, like if it was, you can't say same city exactly just because the Patriots, if they were one of them, I don't even know who they were, it didn't say, but if they were one of them, they play in Foxborough instead of Boston, you know, but the same
and the
fan base is what we should say.
San Francisco 49ers play in Santa Clara,
well,
not SF.
Okay, they do, but they've never played. How many times have they played in the Super Bowl since they've been to Santa Clara? One
with Garoppolo.
Yeah, I was thinking like they've only been one time. You know,
No, wait a minute.
most
How
of theirs
about
came
with-
at Candlestick Park.
How about when they had
Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick?
I don't know if they had moved.
I don't
yet or
know
not
if they
at that
moved or
time.
not.
Neither.
Um,
Still playing in Candlestick?
Was
No.
it the first or second year? Here's how we can pinpoint this: the Panthers played in the Super Bowl in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Okay, so was that the first year of the stadium opening, or was that the second year of the stadium opening when they hosted the Super Bowl? A lot of times they don't get to host it the first year they're open.
Yeah.
They want to make sure all the kinks are worked out and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I'm thinking it might have been the second year, but anyway, I don't even know what year that was. I can't tell you what year that was, and it's always longer than I think. So if I sit here and tell you they've been in that stadium 10 years, it's probably been 15, but I don't know. I don't know exactly
It's,
the year
it's
that they
getting up
moved.
there now. I mean, it may not be 10, but
Yeah, I don't know either. What's the name of the stadium? Levi's? It is, isn't it? Levi's Stadium.
yeah.
Maybe we'll look that up here in a few minutes and see. We're going to give you all the high school scores, and I mean, there was a lot last night. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know of many shockers. You don't usually see shockers in the first round because I don't really know of many shockers. I do know, one notable win that we're going to talk about and mention, and everybody says, see, I told you, that would be Shelby knocking off Forest Hills last
Well,
night.
thanks, because I picked Forest Hills.
I think Brett did too.
Yeah.
That's okay. I missed many. I missed several last night. I think I did get that one right, but I did.
Yeah,
Now
you
we got
did.
that. Now we got that Shelby Burns rematch, just 14 days apart,
Mm-hmm.
and to me, that's just much tougher on Burns than it is Shelby. Shelby comes in after losing the first one. They're going to be all fired up. Can Burns beat them twice in a season? Has Burns ever beaten them twice in a season? I don't know. I don't which Shelby team do we expect to see, because they do have 4 losses to quality teams.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think it's the vintage Shelby team that's been winning state titles left and right.
And also lost a
It's
couple
a-
key players too.
Yeah, lots of
I read
key
Forest
players.
Hills quarterback didn't play last night.
Oh, well, that would have made a difference. Maybe.
Did you read a reason? Injury? Or
Yeah.
Sickness? Injury? So
It said he got hurt in the Monroe game, but stayed in the game. But then by last night, his knee was so swollen
Wow.
and sore,
That's too bad.
Wow.
he couldn't play.
That is sad.
And I don't know if he tried to play any and just couldn't, or if they realized before the game even started that he wasn't going to be able to.
You hate to hear that kind of thing for any team at any level. Anybody getting to go to the playoffs, and senior maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't know how good they'll be next year. Forest Hills used to be a force in 3A football, and they've been down a while. John Lowry, the former coach, had them at or near the top just about every season. Always a team you didn't want to go play, and they've kind of bounced back this year, made a name for themselves, and
Yeah, they were 9-1, I believe.
now, the only loss was to Monroe.
Yeah, they won
till
their
last
first
night.
9, and then they lost their last 2.
How bad did that? I'll look it up in a minute. How bad did Shelby wind up?
I think it was 30-13,
Was it really? Yeah.
and it was 30-7
So the missing the quarterback
late,
there.
and they
Oh, yeah, that could
Forest Hills
just
scored late.
completely throttle their offense.
Yeah.
You miss your quarterback.
And evidently it did. It did.
Mhm.
Hate to hear that. A lot of injuries around.
There are.
High school football.
And everybody's
here
beat
this
up
late
by
in the
this
season.
time of
Yeah.
year.
But some of them severe. Some of
Yeah.
them severe. Langston suffered a severe injury last night.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we get into high school football as well. But does this work? Let's go back to World Series. You never did give me a storyline. What do we got? Is there anything? Is it? Looks like it's not going to be Philadelphia Freedom. You won't be able to use that.
I can't say Philadelphia Freedom. No.
I think Houston. I don't know if they'll win tonight, but I think they win it. I think you give them 2 chances at home to get 1 win. I would take the Astros, and I'm guessing come Sunday night, if it is a Game 7, all hands on deck, which means you might even see Verlander for an inning, or 2, whatever. But although he's not been that dominant, here in the World Series, he, like Brett said, he did finally get a World Series win. It's funny, I heard the other day.
Well, they got their best one on the mound tonight. Framber Valdez.
I heard the other day that Verlander had the best winning percentage of any pitcher ever in the divisional, the championship, the league championship series. Yeah, and then he's got the worst of anybody ever till last night in the World Series because his winning percentage was 0.
Yeah,
0-6 until he got a win. Now, he probably moved ahead of somebody because there's many with winning percentage of 0, but they're just not as notable as a Verlander. So, and he's free agent at the end of the year.
Is he? I don't know.
I think me and Lenny were chatting back and forth, and I said, well, he could just retire and go home to Kate Upton, and Lenny says, well, Kate will probably decide where he plays next, and maybe it might be New York or L.A. just to be in the
L.A.
Yeah, the big market cities.
He's 39.
Yeah, 39.
And he'll turn 40 during the off season.
But have you heard what he said?
No.
He wants to be the Tom Brady of baseball.
Oh.
Longevity. He wants to keep going as long as he can.
Yeah, Brady set the bar so high that, yeah.
Now, he don't mean this year's Tom Brady.
No, not this year.
And I don't think he meant divorce either.
No.
Go through the divorce.
Divorce the supermodel wife?
Yeah.
Going through the big D, I don't mean Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, he's the type that he's a workhorse, and you can tell just by looking at him. He's aged a little bit through the years like we all have.
Well, did he miss an entire season a year or two? Was he last year or the year before?
Lenny says he is a free agent. I don't know if he did or not. Lenny probably tell us that. I don't know if he missed a whole
year.
Yeah, it seemed like he did. Tommy John surgery?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I could think that would have caused him to miss a whole year, but which that could help him his career go a little longer, the fact that he missed a full season.
Go back to the just for a moment, Butch Parker weighs in. We'll go back to the John Lowry time at Forest Hills. He says Alvy Faircloth was John Lowry's mentor at Forest Hills. Butch said he reminded me of Von Ray Harris. So that goes back a ways. Scott Cloninger says heading to Virginia to watch the ponies. Watch the ponies up. I don't know about that. I can't hear good through tune in. He's got tune up. Yeah, we need a tune up. Your volume a little for this old man. Don't listen on TuneIn. Listen on 1050 WLON.com. I think it's clearer and louder. 1050 WLON. .com, and I'm pretty sure that's working this morning. Last night we had a little bit of issues with it early on, but we did get it up and going. Thanks to some of those guys last night helping me out with that. Walt Hefner.
Oh, you said you never
Alan
heard
Chapman.
of Houston by Dean Martin. It does exist.
I didn't
Going
say
back
that.
To Houston,
I haven't, but I
Houston.
didn't say that.
It's lonesome in this old town. Everybody puts me down. I'm a face without a name. Just walking in the rain, going back to Houston.
Lenny says Verlander missed a season and a half with the surgery. So I know the surgery takes something out of you, but also maybe he got a little rest and just rejuvenated.
Yeah.
What was his record this year? Any idea?
It was good.
ERA record and all that.
Yeah.
So still a valuable pitcher then.
Oh, yeah. He was really good this year.
I figured, but I didn't know exactly what the
18-4.
Oh, wow.
1.75 ERA.
Was that?
Now he might be Cy Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not young numbers in this day and time.
1.75 ERA and 28 starts.
They ought to just give like a third of a Cy Young award because didn't Cy Young pitch like full games and.
Oh yeah, he pitched like hundreds of innings.
Yeah, 9-inning games and pitched probably every 3 days. And today's they should just give him the sigh. Yeah.
Yep.
Just give him the sigh.
Half of it.
And yeah.
He led the American League in wins and ERA.
Wow. Now somebody won 20, didn't they? This year.
Yeah, somebody did hit 20.
Must have been a National League.
Well, it had to be after what you said.
Which is now a rarity in baseball.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike Painter, thank you, says the Sounder Online, which is at 10:50 a.m. WLON, says y'all are loud and clear. That's good to know. Ned Yates says to stay on the roster, could he be like Smoltz and go to the bullpen? Could you see Verlander as a closer?
I don't know.
Rodney Willis
Kyle
says,
Wright is who won. He won 21 games with Atlanta.
Okay. Let's see. I got one here from Rodney. Says maybe 18-4 and a sub-2 ERA. Was the ERA under 2?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yep. And here we go, Lenny again. Kyle Wright with 21 wins for the Atlanta Braves. Was he? He's not a rookie, was he?
No, he's been around a few years.
I knew
he is young.
Yeah. The Braves are loaded and going to stay loaded because the guys they wanted, they locked in for like at least 5 years. The next 5 years. The only way they leave now is they trade them away, something like that. Let's see, on Wednesday night, on Thursday night, I want to mention this. Appalachian lost to Coastal Carolina 35-28 in that game. Appalachians had their troubles with Coastal Carolina through the years, and a big loss for App.
Well, they're having their troubles in general.
They are.
Any hope of winning
defensive troubles, especially.
And any hope of winning the title is gone out. Well, they're now 5-4.
No bowl game.
Well, you got to win 6. So.
Yeah, and I guess they could get one, but
yeah, they'll make a bowl game.
Well, I don't know. They got Old Dominion left. They got
Marshall,
Georgia Southern,
Old Dominion, Georgia Southern.
Those might all three be losable.
They're losable.
No, they won't lose all 3.
How many wins do they have?
5.
They're 5-4.
So they got to get at least one, right? So
yeah,
they could finish 6-6.
They've been ravaged this year defensively, gutted by the opposition. I don't know, so that's been a big problem. Offense has been okay, usual. I mean, a lot of people criticize Chase Bryce, but
Michael Penix, former Indiana quarterback, right?
Now at
which one? Oregon State or Washington?
I think it's Washington. Or is it Washington?
It's either Oregon State or Washington. Because he was the leading passer last night, but it don't give you the.
I think it's Washington.
Because Washington upended the.
They won, but it was close enough. He could have been on either team. It was 24-21. They beat Oregon State last night.
I think he's with Washington.
He's at Washington.
Yeah. The much improved and ranked Oregon State
they were ranked.
Beavers.
What, 25th? 23rd? Yeah.
23rd in the nation.
And he's from Tampa. And he's playing at Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way,
short drive.
He went about halfway to start with in Indiana. Now, that ain't
do you know how many Florida kids are scattered all over the United States? Though,
yeah.
There's enough to go around.
Yeah. And I'm wearing my Duke jersey because Duke became bowl eligible last night.
Duke a winner at Boston College, 38-31. Now you're gonna have to help me with this. Leading passer Emmett Moorhead. I'm guessing that's BC.
Yeah.
330 yards. Leading rusher in the game.
Yeah, and their starter was out.
Really?
With injury. Yeah, that's their backup quarterback.
One thing I like about BC, they have ridiculously great uniforms.
Yeah, I love their uniforms.
I do too. I've always liked their color and the way they're, for some reason they just and at one time they were a good football program. I don't know if they'll ever get back to where they were. Tom Coughlin had some really good teams.
He had some good teams
at Boston College.
Of course, that's where Matt Ryan went through.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that doesn't hurt any.
And who was the really good running back? A.J. Dillon.
Is that where he went? BC?
Yeah, he went there.
Yeah. Last year, didn't they have a couple kids from North Carolina in the backfield, Brett? Didn't they have a couple of North Carolina high schoolers? It seemed like they did, but I'm not sure about that. UMass-UConn was the third game of the night last night, and UConn wins that. The Battle of the U's, UConn-UMass, 27-10. UConn a winner. Military game today. I bet Ned's excited, even though it's not Navy. Air Force taking on Army today, 11:30 a.m. on CBS. It says at Army, and it doesn't give me anything Well, yeah, it is. I got it right here. Do you know where Choctaw Stadium is? Now, don't look at ESPN.
I know where Choctaw Ridge is in the song Billy Joe.
Where?
By Mississippi.
All right, where's Choctaw Stadium? I wouldn't think Choctaw Stadium would be in Mississippi.
Probably not.
And it's not.
No.
It's not. Ain't no guesses?
Oklahoma.
Close.
Yeah.
Close.
North Texas?
Well, I don't know about North.
No, well, Texas.
Yeah, it is
Texas.
North. It's North. I do know about North because it's in Arlington. And Arlington and Dallas and all that's in the same area. So, yeah. So, I did not know. Okay, you got Jerry's World out there. And this says Choctaw Stadium in Arlington. So, I don't know if I know of that stadium.
I don't either.
We'll find out today. If you want to watch that, that's going to be on CBS at 11:30 this morning. Rodney Willis just gave me a great one from Boston College. And they've had their basketball players and their football players. Luke Kuechly, standout linebacker for years.
Yeah, that's right.
With the Panthers, and injuries ended his career early.
Matt Ryan?
Yeah, Mike said Matt
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah.
That was
Won an MVP?
that's obviously right. That's probably the top player out of there ever. Who was the guy that I want to say he played for the New York Giants? He was out of Boston College and he had to deal with cancer. He had a lot of issues. Had to fight cancer and I'm pretty sure he was out of Boston College. I bet one of these guys will know.
Well, Doug Flutie.
Who that is? Doug Flutie.
Yeah, Doug
He
Flutie.
may be the most popular
Yeah,
guy
probably so.
ever out of the program.
Still doing commercials.
Wheaties. Remember when he was on the Wheaties?
but
box?
yeah.
Or no, it's Fluties. He had his own.
Flutie's Flake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flutie's
Yeah.
Flake.
Flutie's Flakes. Still got a box, don't you, Mike? Verlander threw like 20 innings in the COVID-shortened season that started late. This is from Lenny. Then had the late season surgery and missed all of last year, so basically missed 2 years. And then Lenny says he knows where Choctaw Field is. Yeah, I would have got that one. I've been there many times to cover Legion baseball.
Choctaw Field.
Yep.
Is that
Brett's
it's not East Gaston, is it? Is it?
Bingo.
These guys.
East Gaston, where Lenny spent many days.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Number 2, Ohio State is at Northwestern. Can they outsmart them? Because that's the only chance they got in this game is try to outsmart the Buckeyes. I don't think so. Too many athletes, too many weapons on that Buckeye team. Texas Tech at TCU. Did you ever think we would be in here in November and talk about undefeated TCU?
No.
That's amazing.
Well,
That's amazing. What's the coach's name? I love him. I just
Sonny
love
Dykes.
Sonny Dykes. I mean, that sounds like he was coaching in the 50s.
Yeah. He does.
Yeah.
Hey, give him his props. But nobody's paying any attention to them. What are they in the rankings?
7.
College football playoff.
7.
7th. Okay.
Yep.
Well, not a bad position. We're going to see how it all plays out. But they could run the table. And
Lord.
Of course, they're probably going to be in the Big 12 championship. There's some big games left. But
Yeah, they got Texas Tech, Texas, Baylor, and Iowa State.
Yeah, we've talked about this each
Well,
week. They
those are
just
the bottom tier.
they can't run the table. It's just I don't think there's a great team. Say them again.
Texas Tech,
you
Texas,
can beat all those teams.
Baylor, and Iowa State.
Yeah,
They can, but just the law of averages, Mike says they won't. I mean, I can't see them beating Texas Tech and Texas, but
They've
back to back.
already beaten Kansas State.
that's a huge win
They
because
beat Oklahoma State.
because
Oklahoma State.
Kansas State put a whipping on Oklahoma State last week. That was
40.
ridiculous.
Was it 42-0?
It was
47
something to
0?
nothing at one time. I guess
They-
it stayed that way.
Kansas State beat Oklahoma State, and the
It's hard not to pull for Kansas State because I always think of Bill Snyder.
I do too.
you know,
Yeah,
and-
the classy gentleman.
And I hear, I don't know, I don't remember, but I hear when he came there, that basically wasn't even a real football program.
oh no,
And he turned them into
Yeah.
being relevant
relevant.
and was there years and years and years and
Yeah.
left and even came back, didn't he, for a second
Yeah.
round for a short time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
I like
beat.
to see them win.
Yeah, Kansas State beat Oklahoma State about the same way Texas beat OU in the Red
Yeah.
River
48-0.
rivalry.
48 to
Yeah.
nothing.
And it was
that's not a lot.
49-0 Texas OU.
Well, you're right, Mike. That was pretty close. North Carolina at Virginia. Heels are ranked 17th.
Virginia can't score.
Yeah, Carolina can.
Carolina always has trouble at Virginia.
They do, for whatever reason. But now
Virginia's
they
not very good.
No, not this year.
I just like the way Carolina can put up points. I mean, they're never out of a game with the way they can score points.
They have a budding star in Drake May. Right?
Well, you hear Dan Patrick, don't you? Dan Patrick has all these people that he talks to in the NFL behind the scenes, and some scouts have told him that by next year, the tanking will begin for Drake May.
Yeah.
That he will be the top quarterback taken when he comes out in the NFL.
When can he come out? Next year?
After next year, yeah.
Is that when it is?
It's just his second year.
So next year is when, that would make sense then that they do that. Ned says that
Flutie wore the number 22.
Flutie wore number 22, and I remember that. Of course, everybody remembers the pass against Miami on Thanksgiving Day, or Thanksgiving. It was the Friday after Thanksgiving. I went to a high school football game that night at Maiden, a playoff game. I remember that in the old stadium, the day Flutie threw that pass. I know players wear odd numbers for that position these days, but back then 22 at quarterback was odd. Yes, it was, because I remember John Hadle wearing 21 in the NFL, which is also very weird. Oh, he got that on here. I should have kept reading.
He's got it.
I do remember in old NFL Chargers, John Hadle wore number 21. Here's you a good trivia question, because this is one I don't know. John Hadle, you ever heard of him, Brett?
No.
You don't remember?
Don't know him.
I do.
Well, it's not good for him. But the old guys, where did he go to college?
John Hadle?
No, that's not where he went.
Who did he play for in the NFL?
Chargers. Wore 21. He was a quarterback.
UCLA.
Well, he might have. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer. It just hit me that I do not know where he went to college. You know where Sonny Jurgensen went to college?
Duke.
Yeah, I thought it was Duke. I didn't.
But that's kind of the time period there. That's why I went back to you remember where he went. Of course, obviously it was local. He went to Wilmington high school in Wilmington.
John Hadl.
Hadl.
John Hadle.
Where did you go to college?
Tell
us a conference.
San Diego State.
Tell us a conference before you tell us a college there on Mr. John Hadle. I bet Lenny's going to answer it. He did. He answered it.
Pac-12.
No.
Football powerhouse, isn't it, Brett?
You mean that satirically?
Yep, and I'll tell you this: their basketball coach is suspended for 4 games.
Kansas.
Says he went to high school at Lawrence High School in Kansas.
Wow.
He didn't go far from home.
He did
for
not
college.
have to move. He did not
went
have
to
to
high
move.
school in Lawrence and college in Lawrence.
I wonder what kind of football Kansas had in that time period. I'm guessing that was early 70s or late 60s when he was at Kansas.
Early 60s.
Early 60s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in the late
He was drafted in 62.
Okay. Well, that was a great year.
Yeah.
I've heard.
You were born. Hey, in the late 60s, Kansas had a quarterback. I can't think of his name right now. He was more of an option quarterback, threw left-handed. They were pretty good then.
Kansas?
Yeah, what is his name?
Yeah, you got me on that one.
I think they went to the Orange Bowl or something.
And, of course, we all remember this guy, Lance Allworth, Bambi, as he says, number 19, the great receiver for the Chargers in that time period. That's back when you had –
Yeah.
He says he played halfback as a sophomore and was All-American. Then he moved to quarterback his junior year and was All-American quarterback.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. Mm-hmm. I would bet nobody else has ever done that.
No.
Unless it's somebody like Jim Thorpe, or you have to go so far back, Lenny tells me I did not look that up about Hadle. I don't know if he's calling me out because I didn't say it. Maybe he's just telling me he remembered it, but I don't think I said he must have looked it up. And I do throw that line out there.
It says they were in the top 20 his junior and senior year. He went 15-5-2 as quarterback.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
There are guys way back then that you remember where they went, like Stabler, he went to Alabama. Namath, he went to Alabama. What's amazing about Alabama is they didn't have a Heisman Trophy winner till Mark Ingram won the Heisman. All those years of Alabama football.
Where Roger Staubach play?
Navy,
okay.
Yeah.
Navy. How about that, Ned? You glad I knew that, right? I knew Roger Staubach. Roger Staubach was class, 100%.
He was, all the way.
And you guys know I'm not the biggest Cowboy fan at all. But I'll say this, too. Troy Aikman is class. Troy Aikman is my favorite Cowboy of this era because I love to hear him do games.
Yeah,
he's really good. He's
Speaks
really
his
good.
mind,
Really good at what he does, and he's
Yeah.
good in interviews too. If you ever hear him
Yeah.
on with Dan Patrick or anything, Troy is really good. And the thing he always mentions is his 2 daughters. You know, he mentions it in every interview at some point. Got pictures of them behind him. So doesn't mention the wife, but I think that's been long gone.
Yeah.
But he does mention I think he does mention those 2 daughters quite often. Baylor at Oklahoma. How about it, Mike? Big Red going to get it done today or not?
Well, we won 2 in a row to kind of save the season from complete disaster. I think it's a winnable game for OU at home. Baylor's pretty good, but no, I'm not putting. I mean, yeah.
I love when I get these texts. I remember this. Lance Allworth had a beautiful wife.
Well, I'll be.
Any guess? Any guess where it came from? Oh, that's great. Oh, my gosh, I get another one. This says the exact same thing. Lance Allworth had a beautiful wife. I got to look her up.
Who was she?
Lance Allworth had a beautiful wife,
Was she
actress named Joey Heatherton.
Oh, Joey Heatherton.
And now Mike Powell's all at it. Mike Powell's finished for the day.
I'm all in with Joey Heatherton.
He and Hadel were a deadly passing combination. That's from Butch Parker and Scott Cloninger.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Yeah, Joey Heatherton was a movie star, dancer, had blonde hair, but kind of wore it short, kind of over.
Well, that's funny then because Lance Allworth had blonde hair and wore it long, didn't he?
Did he?
Seemed like, or am I thinking somebody else? The one that comes to mind is Golden Richards.
Golden Richards.
Back for the Cowboys. But I think
Cowboys.
Lance Allworth also may have worn the hair
He
long
probably
for a while.
did.
I mean,
He's
that
a
was
West Coast guy.
It was in a time period, too, when the long hair was
well, hell,
very
still
common.
Is. It still is.
It's come
very
back.
Much.
It went away for a while, but it's come back.
It's back big time, even in sports.
Yep. Kentucky at Missouri. Mike's favorite coach in action today in Missouri.
Drink the water.
Drink
right?
the water.
Drink the water.
Florida is at Texas A&M. Honestly, here, 2 somewhat struggling programs. Would you say? I mean, we
3 and 5.
We expected more out of both, right?
Yeah.
A&M's 3 and 5.
I believe that's right.
What is Florida?
4 and 4, middling.
4 and 4.
Just average.
Yeah. I call that struggling. I mean,
I do too.
But Texas A&M was expected to be
well, they were
top
ranked 3rd
10.
in the country,
Yeah.
weren't they? When,
I mean, how many years in a row?
Or 6th when that beat
I
them.
think Florida was expected to be a little down.
Yeah.
And they got a new
First year
coach.
under
Yeah.
Billy Napier. We talked to a fan last night.
He
in
knew Billy Napier. He
Hendersonville.
loved Billy Napier. He's a big Florida fan.
Big Florida fan.
This guy comes into the press box last night
never
in
stops
Hendersonville,
talking.
and he's already fluorescent green because he's wearing a great big. He's a big guy, and he's wearing a Oregon.
Oregon
pullover.
Yeah.
So you already can't see. You're already blinded by the fluorescent green when he comes in there. But then. We just got to talking to him somehow, and he
did all the talking.
Yeah, we got to listening to him.
Somehow.
I liked him. He was enjoyable, but he and the other radio crew, the hometown radio crew, which included Eric Gash, former All-American defensive back at North Carolina.
Yeah, we were
among
Sam
royalty. Gash played in the NFL. We
were among royalty last night.
He was a super guy too.
He was.
He and his wife were in there.
And I watched the second half of your game on the NFHS network. Yeah,
But,
well, I kind of watched it. I was paying a little more attention to the
Now, Lenny
game
tells
on the
me
field where I
Sam
was.
Gash went to Penn State. For some reason, I had in my mind that Sam Gash went to North Carolina as well, but it must have been Eric that went to North Carolina and Sam went to Penn State. Sam was a fullback, I think, with the Packers for a good while, or maybe just a big running back, but or tight end or something. I can't remember, but. I did know the name, and I knew he was from Henderson.
And we had an All-American from Western Carolina in the booth, too.
Yes, we did. Who Mike Bowen, funny, he was listening to our game, and he sends me a picture of this guy and said, I played with him at All-American at Western Carolina in my day.
Eric Rashid.
And his son played wide receiver / everything.
Everything.
He had slash, and slash. They would run fake extra points, fake field goals.
He did
and every
everything.
time he would get the first down. And we talked to that kid after the game.
Nice guy. Nice kid.
Yes, he
said
was.
he's interested in Virginia Tech, maybe Kentucky.
Yeah,
I
just seemed like a great guy who was just big smile on his face after they won the game over West last night. But he was just a class act.
Yeah,
talking to him for a few minutes, and you see where he got it from. His dad was exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Going to go through this real quick. We got to take a break. I promise we got to take a break. Maryland at Wisconsin, Iowa at Purdue, Minnesota at Nebraska. Will Nebraska ever win another game? Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, I already said Baylor, Oklahoma. Then we get into the heavyweights. How about this? Number 1 versus number 3 today, CBS at 3:30. Got to have the TV. This is must-see TV. Tennessee and Georgia. This is I don't know. This is the best game since
Alabama, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Well, you think? I mean,
bigger maybe.
yeah, because now we're at this point of the season.
Yeah, both of these are 8-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're ranked 1 and 3. I think Tennessee was 7 at the time they played Alabama.
Yeah. We weren't sure about Tennessee then until
we're sure about them now.
Alabama.
Top offense in the country.
They were 6. They were 3 and 6 when they met.
Could we finally get our first North Carolina-based Heisman Trophy winner in Hendon Hooker? Yeah. You know, he went to Dudley, played football at Dudley.
Yeah. I hope so.
So Mike told me last night that he's pretty sure that the only one to come close was Charlie Choo Choo Justice, who finished second in the voting.
Behind Doak Walker of SMU, 1946.
Wow. Think about that. I mean, that's – and what a name to be behind.
Yeah,
you know?
Doak Walker.
Yeah, a legend. Penn State at Indiana. Penn State ranked 15th. They just have trouble beating the good teams.
James Franklin. They seem to be pretty much tied to him, and he goes 8-4. Or
they were really mashed by Michigan. They were in the game with Ohio State, but they got Ohio State pulled away from them at the end just because they had big playability and Penn State didn't. You know?
Yeah, 28 points in the fourth quarter for Ohio State last week.
Now, Lenny must have took a break while we were discussing Allworth's marriage to Joey Heatherton, because we got that from Butch and Scott both. And Lenny says, wasn't Joey Heatherton also married to – oh, wait a minute, he didn't finish.
Oh.
Also married to former – and that's all I got. I can't answer that. Wasn't Joey Heatherton also married to former?
Well, yeah.
We'll have to call her up and ask her. Oklahoma State, Kansas, Syracuse at Pitt, Central Florida at Memphis, West Virginia at Iowa State. You know, that don't sound glamorous, but that sounds like a good game.
Probably will be.
West Virginia and Iowa State. Yeah. It seems like Iowa State's in a nail-biter every week. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it just seems like they're in a game every single week. That comes
I don't think they've won a game in the Big 12 yet.
How about this? This is a big one, too. It may not be the glamour of today of Tennessee and Georgia, but number 6 Alabama at now number 10 LSU. LSU had 2 losses early in the season. They've worked their way back now into the top 10. Coach slips my mind. What's his name? Help me, Brett. Kelly. Brian Kelly,
yeah.
Brian Kelly. I think he's. I think he will do really good things.
Well, they should have beaten Florida State. They should be 7-1.
Right. Yeah.
They blew that one.
They did blow that one. And who was their other loss? They lost another one by like maybe 14 points to somebody. Conference game, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think it was conference.
Well, I see this. Joey Heatherton was married to Lance Rensel,
and not Lance Allworth.
Yeah.
Oh, you got that wrong.
Yeah.
Got it wrong.
Oh, it was Lance Rensel who played for Oilers?
He played for Vikings, Cowboys, and Rams.
Rams. Rams is where I remember.
Lance Rensel, that's right.
Not
receiver.
Lance. Yeah. Well, that's what Lenny put here. Wasn't he also married to former Dallas Cowboy receiver Lance Rensel? Maybe he wasn't also. Maybe they had the wrong Lance.
It only shows her being married once, and it was to Lance Rensel.
Yep. Not Lance Allworth. Let's correct that before she gives us a call. Lance Rensel, not Lance Allworth.
And do you know where Lance Rensel played college football?
Oklahoma.
Yep.
As a guess, because you wouldn't ask me if it wouldn't have been. You wouldn't have known.
Yeah, it couldn't have been during the Wishbone days because he was a receiver, right?
Yeah.
I promise I'm going to finish this real quick. BYU goes to Boise State. That also sounds like a good game. Texas at K-State. We've already talked about that and how big that is. K-State, 1 loss on the season or more, K-State?
Oh, no, they've lost more.
They're ranked 13th.
Are they?
Yeah.
Maybe they have.
That's what made me think that
They're 6-2.
Okay.
Texas 5-3.
Okay. Michigan at Rutgers. They shouldn't have any problem, but those are the kind you kind of have to watch out for. Clemson at Notre Dame. Big game tonight in the ACC. Now, this Clemson.
Well, that's not in the ACC.
Well, okay. 2 ACC schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Yeah, it's one ACC football school.
It is
played a non-conference game.
Brett, if it's not football for Notre Dame, Brett doesn't consider that.
He does not want to mention Notre Dame with ACC. It sounds.
Well, no, I do pull for Notre Dame in other sports, unless they're playing Duke in basketball. Then I'll pull for them in basketball.
Yeah.
Mike Bray's still there.
Mike Bray's still there. I'll pull for him too, except when they play Duke. Yeah.
Like if I had to put my allegiance with one school, it would be Notre Dame and not Duke.
Right.
But I do love Duke basketball.
Arizona's at Utah. Utah's ranked number 14 in the country. South Carolina plays at Vanderbilt. Let's see. Auburn at Mississippi State. Both teams. Boy, Auburn's really struggling. And Mississippi State, I love me some Mike Leach, but I think they got hammered last week, didn't they, by somebody.
Well, Auburn just fired their coach this week.
Yeah, they're talking about Dion may be in line.
Yeah.
Florida State, I love the coach they got down there. I think is it
Mike Norvell.
Norvell.
I think he's getting it together a little bit.
But in hindsight, they should have hired Deion Sanders.
Oh, yeah, a natural.
But
I'd like to see Dion at Auburn, see what he could do.
They would have so many recruits. Whoever gets Dion is going to lead the country in recruiting.
Oh, yeah.
And you better think about that. You better think about that.
It will be interesting to see him and Saban going head-to-head in recruiting battles just in the state of Alabama.
Now we're going to start grading women on our show. Butch says if she was any kind of woman, she would have been married to Allworth. I like it. We get to select their mate. Let's see where I left off. How big did this one used to be? Florida State at Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Miami.
How far they have fallen.
Especially Miami. They have really – Florida State's having a decent year, right? But Miami is just – didn't they lose to a non-Power 5?
Yeah.
A couple weeks
Middle
back.
Tennessee.
Ooh.
Worst loss, Miami, Middle Tennessee State, or the exhibition game recently in which Lenore Ryan beat Louisville.
You said exhibitions. That rules it out.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Both bad losses.
Wake Forest at NC State, number 21 at number 22. James Madison at Louisville. Mike just mentioned Louisville. Southern Cal's at home to take on Cal. UCLA's at Arizona State. Late night for Lenny Anthony, the late man. Colorado State, San Jose State, and Hawaii at Fresno State. We're going to take a timeout. Thanks for tuning in. Back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, and then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Welcome back. Sports Talk. Don't forget, Game 6 tonight. Phillies on the road at the Astros tonight. Astros with a chance to close it out. Now, what year did the Astros win the World Series?
17?
I don't know.
16 or 17.
They run together to me.
Well, when did Boston win it last?
18.
Okay, then it was 17 that the Astros won it.
I had to think a minute, and the reason I remembered was because Mr. Butch Parker picked me up a championship T-shirt in Boston that year, and I just remember that it says 18 on the front. Of course, let's see, they also say 2004 and I think 2007.
Well, we only know that they cheated their last one.
Boston?
Yeah.
Boston?
Yeah, they used that same
go ahead. Yeah,
strategy that the Astros used because they got, Cora came from the Astros.
What is it they say? Homegrown, not bought. That's one of my favorite shirts. That's what they wear when they play the Dodgers and the Yankees. And Homegrown, not bought. I can't remember where I saw that shirt. don't even know if it was in baseball, but somebody did have a shirt that said that, homegrown, not bought.
In other words, they come up through their own system. They don't.
You got it.
Yeah.
Of course, Boston does get some free agents, too. As a matter of fact, the worst part right now for Boston is, though, they're losing more than they're gaining. You know? I don't know if they'll re-sign Devers and or Bogarts. You know? And if they don't, then they're last place in that division again. You know? It's not the easiest division to be in.
Yeah.
And they're going to finish at the bottom. They may finish at the bottom if they do re-sign them. They're definitely going to finish at the bottom if they don't. I want to go through this real quick. On Thursday night, the Eagles remained undefeated. If you had to pick one team before the season began that would get to the halfway point and be undefeated, how far down the list would you go for it was Philadelphia?
Pretty far.
You know? I would have probably named 10 or 12 teams. Before the Eagles that I would have projected to be that could go.
Yeah, who could have figured out how much Jalen Hurts has improved as a quarterback? Plus, here's the key, though. They got A.J. Green. No, Brown.
Get your colors right.
Get my colors right. I mean,
Mike's colorblind.
That's made all the difference. Yeah, having a top-flight receiver.
Yeah, it has really helped. But was he a free agent or was that a trade?
No, they traded.
That was a trade.
Yep.
What was Tennessee?
I don't know.
What in the world? I mean, that guy was a beast last Sunday.
Oh yeah.
He caught 3 touchdowns before you could get in your chair. Before you got in your Sunday chair, real comfortable. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns, and somebody else scored 3 touchdowns. Brett, who else had 3 touchdowns? Oh, McCaffrey had three different ways.
Yep.
I think Kamara scored 3.
Kamara did. Yep. Those are 3.
And there were talks of
really
him being
players.
traded to
there
Philly
was.
at one time.
Well, there was talk this week that he's on the trade block because the Saints might throw in the towel, but the Saints got a big shutout win.
Yeah.
I mean, in that division.
And that division's not good.
No, they have a chance
They
to win
don't
that
have
division.
to throw the
still.
towel in that
Now, who do they
division.
play tomorrow? They play somebody that's going to be a really good matchup.
Yeah.
I thought anyway. Oh, it's Monday night. It's the Ravens in New Orleans. That is a good
That
matchup,
is, yeah.
especially if New Orleans plays defense like they did last week, because they've had the offense all year. You would have thought the offense is what would miss Sean Payton. But for some reason, evidently Dennis Allen put all his focus on offense, and the offense has been good, and the defense struggled till last week. Now, who did they shut out?
The Raiders.
Hapless Raiders.
Man,
Yeah.
what is going on
Slowing
there?
down Lamar Jackson will be a much tougher task.
Yes, it
than-
will. Derek Carr just looks like he don't care anymore, and he is not. There's no reason for him to be an NFL starting quarterback. He's shown me nothing.
Derek Carr.
Yes. No reason at all. I'll see if Rodney agrees. But he just has shown me no reason at all that he should be a starter in the NFL.
I would put him in the middle of the pack. I wouldn't say he's not capable of being a starter.
What were his stats last Sunday, Brett?
Okay, they really did stink it up against New Orleans.
15 for 26, 101 yards and an interception.
Baker
sacked 3
Mayfield like
times.
numbers.
101 yards passing in the NFL.
They just did nothing.
On 26 attempts.
Josh Jacobs only had 43 yards rushing. They only ran the ball 13 times.
I'm saying is he was starting to come into shape to be at least an average NFL quarterback when John Gruden was there.
Now, Rodney's got a point here. His comment is Josh McDaniels is horrible.
He is. Yeah. Another limb off the Bill Belichick coaching tree that really just hasn't produced.
Has any ever worked
I
out?
don't think any of them have worked out.
Romeo Cornell. What's the Charlie?
Well, the one
Charlie
in,
Weiss
the one
is
in
the
Tennessee
biggest
has been
joke.
pretty good.
Yeah, Vrabel.
Yeah, Grable has been good.
Vrabel is, he may be my favorite coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
I like him. I mean, he's hard-nosed.
And I liked
No nonsense.
Matt Patricia.
Tough guy.
But
Couldn't happen.
well, it's with the Lions.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's with nobody can. Yeah, the line. I mean, jeez.
You guys are cruel.
I think he deserves another chance.
How long would Dan
with
Campbell,
a better franchise?
How long would Dan Campbell make it?
I don't know, and I like him too.
Yeah, I do too. I personally
Peter
like
King
him.
yesterday said, let me tell you something. Lions, do not fire Dan Campbell. He's
Yeah.
not your problem.
No.
Ownership is your problem. That's what he said. But, the ownership's not going to fire themselves.
I
Maybe they could
watched,
trade. Maybe the Commanders could go to the Ford family and what's his name, Dan Snyder, could take over the Lions, and then you.
The Lions don't deserve that.
Still be a lot of misery. You're right. They do not deserve that.
I was thinking maybe the Mara, the Rooney Mara.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Family could somehow get their hands on the Washington.
You got an actress named Rooney Mara because her
Rooney
grandparents were the owners of the Giants and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's an actress.
What a life.
Art Rooney and
good actress.
Wellington Mara. Was he the original?
Wellington Mara. It might even been
or
before
what is it,
him.
his dad?
Now it's John Mara, right?
I don't even know.
I think it's John now, but Wellington was the longtime owner. But their ownership until this year, there's a lot of New York people wanting new ownership for the Giants. Now they've turned it around a little bit this year.
They went through some bad years, but they've been a very solid franchise for a long time.
Alan Chapman says nobody deserves that. I guess he's talking about
Daniel Snyder.
Yeah. Is he the worst owner ever in sports? Now we've got a lot of bad owners in sports. What was the guy with the Clippers?
Yeah,
a couple
Sterling.
Years ago?
Sterling.
He was bad for
Sterling.
other reasons, though.
Yeah.
I mean, his team was competitive, but
Well, they weren't that competitive.
How about Marge Schott with the old Cincinnati Reds?
it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't they win World Series under her?
I think they did in '91.
Early
well,
90s?
I guess you can't
Sabo.
say she's the worst. I just didn't like
Well,
her.
yeah, if you win, I think she was the owner when they won it in '91.
Yeah, she had to be.
Was she the owner or was it the dog, Shotzi?
Yeah.
Shotzi was the owner of the franchise.
She was the owner, but Shotzi was the GM.
Shotzi called the shots.
Shots. He called the Shotsies. The Eagles 29-17 over Houston. Tomorrow you got the Chargers in Atlanta. All of a sudden, Atlanta looks like a playoff
But what about
team.
Houston? I don't think Houston's a bad team.
They're not.
Not as bad as I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, Lovey's done. I know their record says 1-6 or
Is it?
It's not great.
One?
But they've been in their games.
Yeah.
They've been in. I don't think they've won.
They have a
one.
tie. Didn't they tie
They do
the
have a
first
tie.
week?
That's the worst.
Maybe it is just one win and a tie.
Two worst things about NFL football. Number one, a game can end in a tie.
Yeah.
And number two are the words automatic first down.
Yeah.
I hate the words automatic first down. Should not exist. You got 3rd and 30, and you get a 5-yard defensive holding call. Automatic first down.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you trying to do to the defenses?
Yeah,
here?
that's pretty bad.
Chargers in Atlanta. That's all of a sudden a good matchup. And Arthur Smith may not be the glamour coach that you want to see on your sideline, but he's getting it done.
Yeah,
he is getting it done in Atlanta because this is a team I thought might go 2-14, 2-15,
well,
whatever.
He completely resurrected. Can't think of the quarterback's name. Mariota.
Here's a vote for worst owner. Okay. Now, Lenny must have been a Colts fan at the time.
Robert Irsay.
Robert Irsay leaves in the middle of the night and ruins the Colts franchise.
Yeah, that's true. I thought about him. But
what about the Browns owner that left for Baltimore?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Art
Modell.
Modell, yeah.
That's right.
I want to say Art Shell, and I said, no, that's not right. Art Modell. Yeah, and then you can't say he's the worst owner, though, because they left, and he's won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
you can't say worse.
Well, he was just, if you live in Cleveland, that's who you would say is the worst owner.
Think he ever went back for a visit?
Yeah.
If you live in Cleveland, you should stop right there, Brett.
That was that was a good franchise with just diehard fans, and they were heartbroken.
They're back. But there are so many lines you could put, though, after if you live in Cleveland, ... And,
I love Cleveland.
Hey, honestly, we've been, all three of us.
I've been a couple times.
It gets a bad rap.
I love it.
It gets a bad rap. It really
City
is nice.
by Lake Erie.
And
I wouldn't want to be there in January and February, but
no.
And it's also
any city that has the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's what I was going to say. It has the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm going through these real quick because Lanny said I need to call him, so we're going to take our second break a little early here. Chargers, Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, Carolinas, and Cincinnati, who also looked awful last week. The Bengals did. Green Bay at Detroit. Somebody's going to win a game here. Yeah. Somebody's going to win a game.
Is the Packers season over?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think.
They didn't do anything in the trade.
They're not going anywhere. They could make the playoffs, but they're not going.
Why didn't they try to get
win.
a receiver?
because they're the Packers, and they have nobody calling the shots, evidently.
Terrible.
They need to just let Rodgers
let
be
him
the
go.
GM. No, let him be the GM.
Okay.
Get who he wants.
I tell you, he may be leaving after one more year.
Indy at New England, Buffalo at the Jets, Minnesota at Washington, the Raiders. I'm sorry, Rodney, the hapless Raiders going to Jacksonville. A surprise team, which I like to see this, Seattle.
Geno
Seattle
Smith. We're in the world.
Playing well. Going to Arizona. Seattle's in first place.
Minnesota's, to me, still the most underrated team in the league. They're
what,
6-1.
Yep, they are. Yep. You're saying that because they're coming to your city.
Well, they are. But
the Rams at Tampa Bay, Tennessee at Kansas City. That's a good matchup. Don't count out Tennessee. They got everything. They got Derrick Henry. I saw Vrabel in the locker room the other day, and he was talking to his team after that win. He said, "You know what the difference is in the NFL and the Tennessee Titans?" And he said, "We have Derrick Henry," and he handed him the ball.
Yep.
That's impressive.
And it looks like Malik Willis, what's his name? He's going to start at quarterback for the injured Tannehill.
Yeah, that's
again.
Yeah,
he started. I mean,
is he the Liberty guy?
Yeah.
He
only threw 10 passes. He was 6 for 10. Derrick Henry ran it 32 times.
I think the game I'm most looking forward to Sunday is the night game, and it might be the World Series on at the same time. But that Baltimore-New Orleans game looks good all of a sudden.
Yep.
At 8:15 on ESPN.
That's Monday. That's Monday.
Oh, good. Yeah, the Tennessee game. Tennessee, Kansas City Sunday night.
Well, what about Rams and Bucks? I mean, those two teams are struggling.
Did I miss that one? Oh.
That's the big 4:25 game tomorrow.
Rams and Bucks. Yep. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's going to gain one. Somebody's got to win. Here's who's off, and then we're going to take a break. Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, Giants, Pittsburgh, San Francisco all have Sunday off, or this whole weekend off. We'll take a quick time out. Back with more in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. David Keever, Mike Powell, Brett Keever with you here on a Saturday morning. And let's see, Brett's working on. We got a remote going on this morning at Carolina Hardware. And are we ready? We're gonna check in with Tim and Lanny and see what's going on out there. Can you hear us, guys? Good. It's all yours.
Yeah, sure can. Absolutely. Hey, guys, I'm Tim Johnson from WLON 107.5, the morning show. Also, guys, we're here at Bean Brothers at 969 Reachville Road here in Lincoln, ladies and gentlemen. And it's the open house here on a Saturday morning. And we've got world-famous City Lunch hot dogs, also Calvin Hasty from KTC Broadcasting, also Ron T. from the morning show from KTC Broadcasting, WCSL, WHS is here as well. Isaac Details from the morning show with Tim Johnson on 107.5. Got a lot of great things here today at the Bean Brothers, folks. Got Skag mowers, got Husqvarna mowers. We've got everything inside the store. Several things inside the store. We've got discounts on them as well. Also, we got door prizes here today. So we're going to be here from till about 1 o'clock this afternoon. So come on out, hang out with us. Like I say, world's famous City Lunch hot dogs here today. So a lot of great things happening here at the Bean Brothers, folks. Brand new opening. Also, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Old Carolina Hardware right here at 969, and it is Reachville Road. Also, we got the Milwaukee battery chargers as well. And so we'll be giving them away right now. Let's do one right now, Cal. $150 value, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give one right now. Well, Mr. Calvin Hayes is going to do a drawing. So, Calvin, who we got here, my friend?
Looks like Samantha Smith of Lincoln.
Samantha Smith of Lincoln, you just won a $150 door prize here on behalf of the Bean Brothers, and it's the Milwaukee Lifetime Power Supply battery. So you can't beat that. So we're going to turn things back over to David Keever, Mike Powell, and Brent Keever, and we'll be tuning back in with you folks here shortly at Bean Brothers, the open house here at 969 Reesville Road. Come on out. Tim Johnson, Calvin Hastings, Ron Teague, and Isaac Benitez live right here today, folks, until about 1 o'clock.
All right, Tim. Thank you, buddy. Get out there and check out things that are going on. It's one of those days where you can't do a lot of work in the yard, but you can go and check out Bean Brothers, the new owners at formerly Carolina Hardware. And yes, I did say Carolina Hardware a little earlier, but it's just a habit I got to get out of. You know, it's like the Astros are in the American League now. You know, it's one of those things, or you know, when teams change cities.
Chargers still.
The San Diego Chargers, is that what you're referring
to?
But I'll get it. It is the Bean Brothers, and that is Bean with an N, the letter N, which Bean Brothers Hardware over there. And we'll check in with them again in about a half an hour and see what's going on. And I think, before we were able to go on, I told Lanny to call you because you didn't know how to do it, and that might be him calling you just to see. But don't worry about it. Don't have to worry about it now, Lanny. If you can hear us, don't have to worry about it. We're good. We got it all figured out, and we'll check back at, I'm going to say around 9:45. We'll check with them again to see what's going on there. Outside our studio window here, I cannot tell if it's raining or not, but more often than not today it's going to rain.
Yeah, I looked out. It's misty. I mean, it's not, maybe a very fine rain.
It's not fine at all. I could do without it. Nothing fine about rain on a Saturday. You know what I mean? Where I'm going there. So we've talked a little bit about college. We've run down the NFL schedule, and now, of course, we're going to spend this final 45 minutes or so talking about the high school football action in the playoffs last night. Just quickly, before we get going, I'm going to let Mike and Brett just do a 2-minute summary on the games that we all three saw last night. Mike and I were in Hendersonville.
I got a little problem. I can't find my stats.
That's a big problem. That's not a little problem.
Did you pick them up by any chance? We didn't leave anything.
No, we didn't leave anything. No, I did not. Not that I know of. Laney says old habits are hard to break. Isn't that the truth? So, Mike, you can still summarize the game last night. I mean,
I got miles to go before I sleep. I got to do the stats. I got to do the whole thing.
It was a back and forth contest for a while, but it just seemed like once Hendersonville took control and held West Lincoln out, West Lincoln was in the red zone 3 times in the first half,
but came away with
one score.
Yes, they. And little things. They had a couple on each of those drives that failed. As I recall, they had 2 or 3 5-yard penalties, false start, this and that. Yes, he does have my stats.
Well, I'm going through my stuff right now, but go ahead.
Okay. But anyway, and that hurt too. They did have a chance to get on the board on one of those drives with a field goal, as I recall. It was a fairly long field goal attempt by Joey Sellers, I believe.
Look at there.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, I was about ready to freak out.
I didn't even know I had him.
Yeah, but anyway, they did miss a field goal in the first half. As David said, they had a drive deep into they had a drive in the red zone. They didn't come away with any points. So I thought they had chances. They left points on the field in the first half. They were down 15-7.
And Mike, procedure penalties cost them too.
Yeah,
I don't know if you said that, but procedure penalties cost them in those drives.
False start, procedure, that kind of thing. Just a few execution issues, and they might have got into the end zone on one of those drives. But on the other side of the fence, David, Hendersonville scored on 4 of their first 5 possessions of the game. So West Lincoln's defense just really had difficulty coping with this multifaceted attack that Hendersonville ran.
That was the difference to me. You kind of knew what you were going to get with West.
Yeah,
you kind of knew what you were going to get.
Football.
But Hendersonville had so many weapons, and the number one comes to mind there late in the game, the kid we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
because he had some big plays in the second half of that game.
Yeah, Eric Rashid, I thought, was the difference in the second half. He's their big play guy, all-purpose. He ran a kick back about 75, 80 yards to set up a touchdown. he was a holder on field goals and extra points.
That was the killer to me.
That was the killer right there.
He got up twice. One time he got up and taking the snap on an extra point, and he ran it in for a 2-point conversion that put him up 8 at the time.
But that was not as important.
No, it wasn't.
As
the next one.
Field goal attempt. West Lincoln's defense appeared to have him stopped, forcing a field goal attempt. But as the holder, he simply picked that ball up and ran 24 yards
to the 1 yard line, wasn't it?
The 1 yard line for a first down, and of course they scored.
And he ran the same direction both times. He just picked it up and ran to the right sideline.
And then he was he nailed the coffin in finally with an interception late in the game. West Lincoln was getting desperate at that point, down a touchdown, trying to make something happen with the pass play. So he really was all-purpose player. Apparently a big-time recruit, looking at Virginia Tech, looking at Kentucky. He told us after the game. West Lincoln, they were successful as usual in the running game. I mean, it was they had to be near 300 yards. Yeah. Oh yeah.
On the ground.
Oh yeah. I had Mason Avery he had 39 carries, which I don't know that I've seen him run the ball that many times this season with 230 yards. Unofficially. They had success. Had success in the first half with Jalen Winnick on the little crossbuck and counters and stuff. I had him with 9 rushes for 78 yards. The Rebels did have some long drives. They scored on 3 straight possessions in the second half to kind of stay in the game. Hendersonville would get up by 2 scores, and then the Rebels would respond with a touchdown drive. But I think ultimately it was Eric Rashid, his heroics and exploits, what he was able to do.
Well, the quarterback was solid.
Quarterback was solid. Leonard Benefield, he had good athlete at the quarterback position. He was able to scramble around, roll out, either with the run or find somebody to catch the football.
Their top running back was solid as well, number 2.
Number 2 was solid. They just have an
different
offense.
Ways to hit you.
Yeah, they have a lot of skilled people. They can run it. They can throw it. A lot of weapons, and I think ultimately that would just prove to be the difference. West Lincoln played well. They didn't have any turnovers. Neither team had it. Well, West Lincoln had the 1 turnover late, but that was when they were desperate and trying to catch up. Hendersonville didn't have any turnovers. Again, the penalties hurt the Rebels in the first half. I think that's where they maybe blew a couple opportunities to make that score, to get a couple touchdowns on the board in the first half, and then we just see what happens. But
still a good season.
Good
for the
season, solid season for the Rebels.
Don't want to hear that this morning. Good season, but it's 8-2 on the regular season, made the playoffs. Just got a tough draw.
It was Hendersonville's. You look at who they lost to Chase, an undefeated team, and to West Henderson, another undefeated team.
Both
so it was a tough first round draw for the Rebels, but I thought they certainly acquitted themselves well. Unbelievable historic season for Mason Avery at the running back position. What records did he finally? Of course, single game rushing
touchdowns,
and
first season. Yep.
And how about single season rushing?
Yes,
all 3.
Got them all.
So
the hat trick. Now we're going to move over to Brett and let him talk a little about Lincoln. Mike's 2 minutes lasted about 8. That's quite all right. That's quite all right. I mean, there was a lot to talk about there in that game.
Well, we did make the trip.
But I know Brett's a little less, little short, more short-winded than Mike is, so he'll wrap his up pretty quick, I would say. But second week in a row, Lincoln goes to overtime in a game.
Another classic.
And they actually
another
come out on top
game.
In this one.
It was back and forth early. Randleman scored on their first possession. Lincoln went down the field and scored. Missed the extra point. They stopped Randleman, scored again, went for 2 and got it. We're up 14-7. Then Randleman tied it at 14. Lincoln scored another one on a long run. Lincoln switched their offenses quite a bit last night. They had Andre Bost under center and in shotgun, and they also had Carson Cloniger under center, and both of the Bost kids at running back just getting the ball to them in a lot of different ways. Of course, the big injury was to their Lincoln's primary running back, Kamani Heath.
Suffered a broken leg.
Yeah. Randleman, they have the 6'1", 260-pound running back, and he was hard to bring down, as you would imagine. He scored all 5 Randleman touchdowns. In the second half, Lincoln led 21-14 at halftime. Randleman tied it. I think it was late in the third quarter, and Lincoln scored early in the fourth. At that point, their kicker had went out of the game with an injury, so they went for 2, took an 8-point lead, and then Randleman scored with a couple minutes left and got their 2-point conversion to tie.
Nobody led in this game by more than 8 ever.
No.
Yeah.
And Lincoln did have one play where they had a 7, maybe an 8-point lead, and they picked up a fumble and would have ran it back for a touchdown, but they called the Randleman player down.
Right.
And then that was the drive Randleman went down and tied the game on. And then it got to overtime. Lincoln won the toss. Just like last week, they went on defense first. Randleman scored. It took them 4 plays, but they scored on 4th down with their big running back.
Who you said scored all 5?
All 5.
Of their touchdowns.
And he scored a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Scott referred to him as the high school Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he's big. He is. I mean, he's bigger than most of Lincoln's offensive linemen.
Right.
Yeah, they scored, and they decided to kick the extra point and take the 7-point lead, and that's probably their one regret this morning is kicking that extra point.
Yeah.
Because Lincoln scored on their 3rd play in overtime, 3rd and 9. It was Carson Cloniger under center. He took the snap and threw a pass to Will Blackburn in the end zone, and he caught it to cut the lead to 1, and then Lincoln lined up, went for 2. They pitched it to Andre Bost in the backfield, and he got into the end zone to win the game. But it was an exciting game, a lot of big plays. Lincoln had a lot of long plays. Andre Bost easily over 100 yards on the ground.
But Brett, 2 weeks ago they lose Easton Dellinger for the year, a starter. Sometimes on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And last night it happens again.
Yeah.
The kid that
they're
plays,
taking some major hits.
In Kamani Heath with the broken leg. We understand, now this isn't official, but we understand he went through surgery overnight. It was something they had to do pretty quick and do right then, and that he'll have to stay. No activities, what I'm hearing, no activity for 3 months on that, which will keep him out of the basketball season.
Yeah.
So,
well, he is a junior. Maybe
and just hope he recovers and he can play again.
Play sports again next year.
My biggest hope is he can play football again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or anything for that matter.
Anything, yeah.
Yep.
Ned
said he lost our Facebook, the sound on our Facebook, and I don't know. We haven't done anything different to change any of that, so I don't know. But hopefully he can switch to another, because he became my favorite texter this morning. He sent a text, and all of a sudden he became my favorite texter. Rodney and Lenny and Scott and Alan Chapman and Butch Parker and Mike Painter. They've got work to do, because Ned has become my favorite texter this morning. You know why? He says the West Lincoln folks travel.
That's right.
Visitor stands was packed. And the West Lincoln band and the fans. And yes, it was. We saw that. But here's where he won me over.
I know what you're going to say.
Hats off to you guys getting home so late and being on the air for the show this morning.
That's dedication.
Yeah, that goes unnoticed most of the time.
Yeah.
Brett didn't get home till
1:30.
1:30.
Went to sleep at 2:30.
For me, it was about, I'm going to say I got home about 12:45, 12:30, 12:45. Dropped Mike off first and then drove the rest of the way home.
Yep.
But yeah, we turn it around. It's
do.
a big time of year. We can't miss the show on mornings like this. You got to do it.
Right.
You got to do it. So, I'll give you an address for gifts and cards and cash rewards and things like that you can
for our dedication.
Thank you, Ned. Thank you, Ned.
But he's right.
Somebody does notice.
West Lincoln had a great presence at Dietz Field in Hendersonville, and band was there, and a good atmosphere. Just a good high school football game.
I'm going to throw these two out there before we get rolling on the scoreboard, okay? East Lincoln, kind of what we expected. They rolled last night in their first-round playoff game. All right, Calvin's going to call here in a minute. So we're gonna do it before 9:45. Calvin's going to call. I was going to wait till 9:45, but he said we're going to call in a minute for another report. So we'll go ahead and do that. But hats off to East Lincoln with another big win last night. They roll. I mean, they're 11-0. They've outscored their opponents. I don't know, ungodly numbers.
We've lost count.
They did not give up any points last night, right? No, they did 6. I guess that came toward the end. So now it's up to 53 in 11 games. They've given up 53 points in 11 football games.
One of the
this
most
year.
physical defenses I've seen lately.
Yeah.
They just get after people. And
I also wanted to talk about this one for a second because for a little while, Butch Parker says, "Give me a break. I got home at 11." Well, you poor soul.
Oh, yeah, 11 o'clock.
And you can lay around in your pajamas this morning. I hope you're not, but you could lay around in your pajamas and listen to us this morning. We had to get up and at least look presentable since we have video, right?
True,
we had to at least look presentable. But what I was going to say, Maiden was in a bit of a fight early in their game. Maiden was in a back and forth with Polk for a while, but boy, they poured it on in the second half. They win that one 68-33, 68-33. And we'll tell you who these
score of the season.
I think so. We'll tell you who the matchups are going to be when we start talking about this again. But right now, we're going to go to Bean Brothers Hardware and check in with the guys. What's up?
Hey there, David Keever, and hey, we are at Bean Brothers Hardware, the brand new Bean Brothers Hardware on Reachville Road in Lincoln, and we invite you to come out to the Old Carolina Hardware location, 969 Reachville Road. And it's the big open house today. Man, we got the folks out here getting these world-famous city lunch hot dogs. We got chips. We got drinks. I think what else we got, too? We got sub sandwiches from Subway of Bossier City on the way. So Isaac's gone to pick those up. We got Large Marge, a big Cadillac. We got the Floppy Band. And we got plenty of door prizes. And we're giving away a bunch of things here that we're giving away. We've got well, let me see if I can find the list. We've got a free night's lodging. Red Roof Inn we're giving away. We've got tickets to the Renaissance Festival we're giving away. We've got tickets to the Southern Christmas Show. 3 rounds of golf over to Lincoln Country Club. We've got some Red Box movies that we're giving away, too. And if you fill out one of our forms here at Bean Brothers for the rewards, being a Best Rewards member, you got a chance of winning some of our other prizes. Matter of fact, we are going to give away, we're going to give away a T-shirt, a koozie, and a cap. A T-shirt, a koozie, and a cap right now. So let me reach in. T-shirt, koozie, and a cap. And the winner is, well, I can't read that.
Oh, no.
Ron, have you got that one there?
David Keever. I might say David Keever.
Rick Jinks of Cherryville. Rick Jinks. No, not David Keever. You finished second. Rick Jinks wins a T-shirt, a koozie, and a cap here at Bean Brothers Hardware, 969 Reachville Road here in Lincoln. All right, come on out and see us. We'll be here till 1 o'clock today. Free city lunch, hot dog. We got free Subway sandwiches, and we'll probably check in, guys, one more time before we get out of here, before you guys get finished up here at Bean Brothers Hardware. All right, back to you guys.
Sounds good. We're going to take our third and final time out. We appreciate you, Tim. We're going to come back, and I promise we're going to go through that scoreboard and talk about a little bit about next week's matchups in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
What's the biggest news in the 1A East last night? Anybody know? I'm just throwing this out there because it's big. Tarboro.
The only thing I could think of was if Tarboro had to opt out of the playoffs or forfeit or something. But
they didn't win.
They didn't play.
Okay, there you go. They got a bye.
1 seeds in 1A get a bye.
Yep, Tarboro did not play. Eastern Randolph did not play in 1A last night. Just to give you a rundown of who did play in 1A, and I think these guys have the same thing now that I'm looking at.
Yeah,
I'm
looking at the same thing.
Mountain Heritage 42, South Stokes nothing. Robbinsville over Cherryville 40-14. Cherokee 28, Starmount 21. Christ the King 42. Avery County 13. Is that named after Mason and David? Avery County. We'll have to check with them. Hayesville over Allegheny 37-22. Avery County's beautiful, by the way. I love to go up there. There's a lot of good things about Avery County, including Grandfather Mountain, right? Mm-hmm. Christ the King 42. I did that one. Hayesville 37, Allegheny 22. North Rowan over Carver 49-6. Mount Airy 72. North Stokes nothing. Thomasville 55, Elkin 7, Swain County 26, Winston-Salem Prep 8, Drone over Union Academy 63-13, Mitchell over South Davidson, 72-21. Boy, 1A has got a lot of lopsided scores.
Yeah.
Mitchell and Drone rematch next week.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Drone beat them earlier,
Yep.
right? Let's see. Murphy 49, Albemarle 18. East Wilkes over Thomas Jefferson 44-14. Mountain Island Charter. This was a comeback, guys. Bessemer City led in this game.
7-0 at the half, I believe.
Yep. Mountain Island Charter 16, Bessemer 14. And Andrews, who all year has probably been the best team in the 1A, they roll over Highland Tech 77-8 last night.
Something needs to change there.
I don't know what
an 0-10 team
don't need
shouldn't
to be
in the playoffs.
How's your RPI rating better than somebody else's?
Well, they don't have enough teams. That's what it is. That's why somebody has a bye. Everybody makes it.
Yeah, everybody makes it.
Oh, every team makes it?
I think so.
Every team makes it.
That's why Eastern Randolph and Tarboro had a bye, because that's just how many teams there are in 1A.
All right, we're going to continue with the theme of the morning, lopsided scores. Reidsville 76, Madison County 14, Providence Grove 48, McMichael 14. Chase over North Wilkes 74-15. I am so ready. 13 days when Chase takes on Reidsville. Yep. That is going to be interesting.
Yeah, because Chase has been so
And yes, I
impressive.
threw it out there that they're both going to win next week.
Yeah.
J.M. Robinson over Wilkes Central, 22-12. Maiden over Polk, we mentioned that earlier, 68-33. Next up for Maiden, Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant beats Walkertown, 28-13. I think that's a mild upset, at least as far as the rankings go. Wasn't Walkertown a higher seed there, Brett?
And Mount Pleasant plays a style
that
could give Maiden a good game.
They played Maiden twice in the playoffs up here 2 years in a row, and they split.
Yeah,
if I remember right, that they split.
And they'll probably be big, and they'll be able to run the ball.
Oh, I thought you meant big 2A.
Yeah.
Continuing here, Bunker Hill beats East Davidson. This is a rematch from last year's first round. Bunker Hill beats them much worse this year, 41-8 over East Davidson. They will now take on Community School of Davidson, so more Davidson for them. A 20-14 winner over East Gaston. Burns defeated Moorhead. Guess who's up for Burns? The Shelby Golden Lions. Just 14 days apart, these two teams will meet again. Shelby beats Forest Hills 30-13. Brett says he's pretty sure the starting quarterback for Forest Hills missed last night's game because of an injury suffered the week before, so that really hurt Forest Hills in that one. But Shelby at Burns next Friday night. Salisbury over Brevard. This one pretty close, 28-16 by other score standards. It's pretty close, right? Salisbury will take on Pine Lake Prep. They win over West Oaks 38-20. So a lot of the questions coming into 2A was, how good are Community School of Davidson and Pine Lake Prep because of their strength of schedule? They both won last night. Now, I know it's first round and they were higher seeds.
Yeah, they'll be going next week.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say Salisbury beats Pine Lake Prep, and Bunker Hill will beat
I can't
Community
argue
School
with
of
you.
Davidson.
I can't argue with you. Yeah, because Community School of
And
Davidson
that'll set up
struggled with
a
East
Bunker
Gaston.
Hill Maiden rematch.
Third round? Yeah, how about that? That'd be interesting. A lot of rematches.
I know those teams aren't looking ahead that far,
no,
but I
they're
can.
not looking ahead, and they probably don't even want to face each other again either. Neither one, I would say. It's just not good when it's like Shelby and Burns. They don't want to play each other in the second round. Neither one of them want to do that, but they have to. Let's see, where did I get? Pine Lake Prep. So Monroe was a winner over North Stanley, 56-6. Monroe will now host Lincoln. Lincoln a winner in overtime last night, 37-36.
And that's a rematch from last year's
it is a rematch from
first round.
Yep. Which Monroe won handily a season ago. Hendersonville knocks out West Lincoln 36-29. Hendersonville now goes to East Surrey 42-0.
I think that's a good matchup.
County. I do too, but I think East Surrey is going to be a little better. I don't know why I think that. I don't know why.
Well, I know they got a
that.
great quarterback.
But Hendersonville is, I will say this, they have athletes.
Yeah.
They have athletes, and I think East Surrey will have pretty good athletes as well.
Well, East Surrey, what kind of what's their offense like?
Well, when we saw them play, they ran a spread offense.
Their quarterback runs a lot.
Quarterback runs, but when we saw them in the playoffs and stuff, they just threw it all over the field. And
yeah.
Of course, they had a guy that probably connected on 80% of his pass attempts.
Well, that was years ago.
Boaz.
We saw him last year.
Yeah, we did see him last year.
With the younger brother at quarterback.
And Shelby beat him last year.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was running clock.
That could be a very high
49 to 7.
That could be a high-scoring game between Hendersonville and
I would lean that way. Yeah. I would set the over/under at 60.
Yeah.
60 is exactly what I was thinking, but I think 65 would be.
Yeah.
I want it where some people will bet under, and I don't know exactly where to go there. So maybe 65 was where it would be. 3A West, Kings Mountain rolled over St. Stephen's 42-6. Smoky Mountain 41, Central Davidson 38.
I saw some Smoky Mountain fans in Lexington Barbecue headed to Central Davidson.
How about that?
Night.
Well, Battle of the Mountains next week. Yeah. Kings Mountain will host Smoky Mountain.
I'll take Kings Mountain.
Yeah, I think I will too.
Where's Brown Mountain at? They're not in. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Up above Morganton.
Yeah.
West Charlotte, 40-13 over Kramer. West Charlotte will now travel to High Brighton. High Brighton, I think they go to High Brighton. 32-27 over Southern Guilford. High Brighton wins.
Now, High Brighton came in
West
5-5.
Charlotte. I think West Charlotte might be the higher.
I don't care. West Charlotte was 5-5.
Yeah.
Were they?
Yep. It's on that. It's on your phone. The picture I sent you. Look at it and see.
Yeah,
okay.
Look that up for me and tell me who the home team is.
West Charlotte's the 8. High Brighton's the 9.
Okay. Both for 5-5 though, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So they're going to be a 5-5 team. Make it to the third round. We can promise you that, unless it's a double forfeit.
Well, they'll be 7-5.
Yeah, at that point, yes, you're right. Northwest Cabarrus 17, Ashbrook 3. They'll take on Ledford. Ledford 41-0 over Freedom. Don't count out both those teams. Northwest Cabarrus and Ledford are both 10-1 at this point. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have the
Northwest Cabarrus. Yeah,
both are 10-1.
Both 10-1.
Both
are 10-1. And Northwest Cabarrus could have a rematch. They scrimmage East Lincoln in that jamboree. They could be playing them in 2 weeks. Tuscola over Forest View 35-14. East Lincoln over Ashe County 51-6. This may be a little better than you think. Tuscola 10-1 will be coming to East Lincoln 11-0.
I'll give you
next week.
I'll give you 30. Tuscola and 30.
I'll take 30. 30 is a lot of points. I'll take 30.
It is.
Well, West
and I know
Henderson beat
Lincoln's very
Tuscola
good.
by about 50. That's their one loss.
Well, you meant 30 each half, right? Oak Grove over West Meck 17-12. Oak Grove will now take on Crest. I'm pretty sure that game's at Oak Grove.
Yeah, they're
I think
the 3.
They're 11-0.
They're the 3 seed.
Crest beat Statesville 33-7. This was close for a while, but Crest pulled away 33-7 over Statesville. They will now travel to Oak Grove. South Point was a winner 48-13. It was 21-13 at half, and South Point shuts them out in the second half and scores 27 to win 48-13. See that quick math there, Mike?
Yep.
Dudley, a winner over Pisgah 43-5. A rematch of last year's Western final.
Yeah.
Dudley and South Point in the second round.
Second round.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I promise you this, the winner of that game could go deep. The winner of that game could go very deep. Dudley's won 2 straight, right? 2 straight 3A.
Is it?
I think it is. Maybe
I know they won it last year.
Yeah, I think it's 2 in a row. Irwin 41, Carson 27, Eastern Guilford 56, Parkwood 42. So Eastern Guilford and Irwin, where?
Irwin.
At Irwin.
Eastern Guilford's 23 seed. They beat the 10.
Wow. West Rowan 35, Franklin 7, West Henderson 45, North Davidson 28. I know West Henderson, I think, is the 2.
They're the 2.
So they will be at home against West Rowan next week. Let's see, make sure I haven't got a message or anything here. I do have one. Ned says to you, good for Brett bringing up too many teams to start with, too many teams in the playoffs to start with.
Yeah,
because winless teams should not get in there. And I thought I had another one. Oh, he also says, thank goodness for the feature. We have closed captioning. And even though he's lost his sound, he can read everything we're saying.
Yeah, so, on Facebook.
Yeah, I just wonder. I see that sometimes on some of these other things, and it's not always right. It's not always exactly what you say because it's typing so fast and it's electronically done. So
I'm seeing the 3A.
There it goes.
East.
That's what I was waiting on. We're going to get
a 3-0 game last night.
Oh, you're kidding. Were you disappointed if you were at that game, or did it matter as long as your team won? And the game Brad is talking about was Wilson Hunt beat Smithfield Selma 3-0. I wonder how late the field goal came. Was it a end of the game field goal that won it? Probably, I doubt it. Too much other chances. All right, we're going to check in again with Calvin and the guys at Bean Brothers Hardware. What's up?
All right, thank you, David. We are at Bean Brothers Hardware, 969 Reachville Road in Lincoln, and it's pretty easy to find. Perk, do you know where it's at?
Go up that down road, you can't miss it.
After I go up the down road, and then where I go?
Down. Let's make sure he said down.
White House painted green, all right.
It's got 2 front doors around the back on it.
2 front doors around at the back.
Got a gate shut wide open with a dog tied loose in the front yard out back. You can't miss it. It's right beside them.
That's where it's at.
Where it's at.
All right, see, it's easy to find, folks. Bean Brothers Hardware, 969 Reachville Road in Lincoln. It's coming out. It's a big open house today. Check it out. They got the Husqvarna mowers. They got the Skag mowers. They got all sorts of equipment. Got the Diablo saws. They've got, leaf blowers. They've got trimmers. Check them out. Chainsaws, man, and they got a big service department. They'll fix you up if you need some service. Bring your lawnmower in and have it serviced before next spring. You'll be ready to go. And mention they got what? Hot dogs, yeah, world-famous City Lunch hot dogs, chips and soft drinks, sub sandwiches from Subway in Bogan City. Check out the big mulch yard. All right, we're going to give away another door prize. We're going to give away another T-shirt along with a koozie and a cap, another T-shirt and a cap. And let me reach into the old magic box here. Put them back in his car. No, just put them in the van. We got 2 or 3 things going on at one time. Rita Hawley from Rockdam Road, Lincoln, wins the T-shirt, koozie, and cap this time. That's Rita Hawley. All right, hang on to that. All right, guys, we're going to send it back to you, and we'll be back shortly here at the new Bean Brothers Hardware in Lincoln.
All right, thank you, Calvin. And sounds like a good time going on there. So get out there and check it out.
Other free food, door prizes.
You get a Woken Mike Powell, the free food, the free hot dogs. I also said they had subs coming in. Mike Powell is ready. Can't go without giving the 4A. And there's one I have a question mark about because it's the only score on my whole list.
Charlotte Catholic won.
Okay.
I know where you're going.
It's backwards.
Yeah.
They got the losing team listed first, so I wanted to make sure. Thank you, Brett. Grimsley beat Davie County 69-37. Charlotte Catholic defeated Reagan. I thought this game would be closer. Reagan had a good year. They've had a good couple years, hadn't they? But Charlotte Catholic 48-22 over Reagan. Independence over Greensboro Page. That one stuns me a little bit by the spread. Independence 41, Page 13. Have you got the records pulled up?
Page was 5-5. I know that.
Okay.
But they did beat
a good team.
Reidsville this year.
Yeah. First game of the year, wasn't it?
It was early.
Very early, yeah. Let's see where I got to. Olympic 21, TC Roberson 14. Olympic's undefeated, right? Moved to 11-0. Olympic Independence is the matchup, and where will that be? Olympic?
I would think so, since they were undefeated.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I didn't do the 4As on that shot. Also, Charlotte Catholic will play Grimsley. It will be Huff taking on Mallard Creek next week.
That's
you think they've
one.
met a time or two? Huff 49-0 over Providence. Mallard Creek 26-14 over Ardrey Kell. Mount Tabor over Asheville 28-26. What do you know? A competitive football game last night in the first round. East Forsyth 49, West Forsyth nothing. East Forsyth, Mount Tabor next week, and East Forsyth's probably the home team. If I had to guess, because
East Forsyth is, I think, the 4 seed.
The 4?
Yeah,
I thought they might be the 1.
Well,
they couldn't be where they're
RPI.
at. They couldn't be where they're at. You could figure out the seeds because it would be the exact same as the same locations on the bracket. You know what I'm saying? You just wouldn't know if it was the winner or loser that had the seed.
That Mallard Creek Huff matchup. That's a rematch from earlier this year. Mallard Creek won 13-9 over Huff.
Wow.
Defense
lives. Defense lives in football. Don't see a lot of it.
The Charlotte teams do play good defense.
Yeah, they do. Well,
a lot of low-scoring games.
They got enough
anyway.
D1 athletes to go around, and they've got some on both sides. It was Watauga beating South Iredale. Good win for Watauga, 42-13. Northwest Guilford over Southeast Guilford, 45-20. So Watauga plays Northwest Guilford. Weddington over Marvin Ridge. This was a come-from-behind win, too. 29-19, Weddington. Cox Mill is their next opponent. Cox Mill beats Lake Norman 45-33. AC Reynolds rolls over A.L. Brown. Battle of the initials here. Reynolds 55, A.L. Brown 14. They get Chambers. You're going to find out what AC Reynolds is a good team. You're going to find out how good they are next week when they play Chambers. They beat Porter Ridge 34-3. Butler 28, Hickory Ridge 21. Butler will take on Mooresville. The Blue Devils beat Southwest Guilford last night 47-26. Is there a game that stands out to you guys from last night in the West in any classification? The first thing I thought of, and it has to do with the East, was that 3-0 game.
Yeah.
I can't get over that 3-0
when you have so
battle.
Many just lopsided, high-scoring affairs last night.
It's like two pitchers pitching shutouts, and somebody's going to make a mistake and give up, a home run or something. I mean, that's what happened in this game. It's just like two defenses played their tails off, and a field goal won it. Again, I don't know exactly when that field goal might have came in that game, but I just going through here, really, guys. I mean, there's some minor, I would say, minor surprises, but I don't know of anything that happened last night that really blows me away. Do you guys have one?
No ones or twos lost, I don't think even a 3 or 4 lost. Yeah, what?
And you can't say Shelby going to Forest Hills and winning is a surprise. Even if they would have had their quarterback, I wouldn't have been surprised by that. And in fact, they didn't have him.
I thought it was a toss-up.
Yeah.
If both teams were at full strength, I thought it was a toss-up.
Right. Yeah, I kind of feel the same about that.
And that was a 19 and a 14. But Forest Hills is a very good 14.
Yeah,
they're 9-1.
One loss by 2 points.
It's just because they lost their
Put
conference.
them at 14. That's amazing. One loss by 2 points made them drop to a 14.
And then Langston's a 23 at a 10. No, so that was an upset.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it's a great win for Lincoln's program. Their first playoff win since 2017.
Is it?
Either 2016 or I think it's 17.
17, they beat Graham.
Yeah.
On the road, just like this one on the road.
Harris is the
Yep.
player I remember from the 2017 team.
I was a little surprised Mount Pleasant beat Walkertown. I thought Walkertown
Walkertown looked like they had a good resume.
Yeah.
But, I told you this, Brett, last night, I think, that Mount Pleasant's just always underrated.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about them or whatever, but they just always get overlooked, and everybody just assumes
they're always pretty good. They're big and physical, and they can run the ball.
Everybody assumes they're just a first-round loss, but it just doesn't always happen, and it didn't last night. And kudos to them for getting that win last night. I was just trying to glance here before we go off the air at the East too, but without the seeds beside the scores, it really doesn't. It doesn't tell me the story, so I really don't know. I know this: Holly Springs beat Richmond County, and Richmond County did not have a terrific year, but they don't go out in the first round very often. That's a little surprise to see. Holly Springs beat them 36-33 last night. Now, one of the teams that beat Dudley is Durham Hillside. Hillside's in the 4A East. They rolled last night over Hoke County 49-18. And we saw Durham Hillside play one year. Brett, were you with me when we saw them play?
Beat Davie County.
Yeah, we got to the stadium. It was 40-0. That was half. Final was 40-0.
One good game in the East coming up next week is going to be Wallace Rose Hill and Northeastern.
Yeah, that should be good. You're right. Two teams that normally go deep.
Yeah.
Only one of them can.
Wallace Rose Hill put up 74 points last night.
You talk about Lincoln bouncing back and finally getting a playoff win. How about Cummings? I think it's been a while since they had a playoff win as well. Used to be a powerhouse in 2A, and they won last night over Bartlett Yancey. And I really don't recently remember them. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's taken them a while to climb back up. And they've been.
They might have won a playoff game last year.
Okay,
but if not, it definitely been a while.
Yep. Some of the I was looking here real quick to see if anybody is in the loss column in the 2A East that might ring a bell, and there's really not. I mean, your East Duplin, James Keenan, Clinton, Edenton Holmes, Whiteville, Green Central, Wallace Rose Hill, Northeastern, Cummings, and Princeton.
Cummings did win.
Princeton's the 1 seed, right?
Cummings won one last year.
Okay.
And then lost second round.
I think in the East
Princeton
is
the
Princeton.
1 seed. Yeah.
All those
I
guys
don't think
won.
they're the best team in the East.
Well, it don't always work out that way, but
I think a lot of people say East Duplin could be the best team.
If that's the case, they wouldn't meet till the finals of the East.
And then that Northeastern and Wallace Rosehill, people
they're
on
both
them.
good.
I think Clinton's really good.
Yeah. Wallace Rosehill was in the championship last year, and their running back had about 300 yards against Shelby, even though they lost.
Yeah.
They couldn't cover the pass. But their running back put on a show last year. And where did he wind up?
He went to App.
Yeah, he's at App.
Yeah.
I can't
Or at
remember
least
his
at the
name.
time, that's where he was committed. I don't know.
I'm the same way. I do not know.
You never know.
That wound up. But I can't remember his name, but he was he was hard to handle.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
If you get 300 yards on Shelby.
A few years before that, it was Javonte Williams.
Yep.
At Wallace Rosehill. They can always run the ball.
Yep, and he's out for the season now with the Broncos, right? Got the injury to take him out for the whole season. A lot going on next week as well. We had a good time this morning, and I can't wait. I love the playoffs, and they're going to be
time of year.
The games are going to heat up. They're going to get better every step we take. Although last night Brett saw a great one and Mike and I saw a great one. Two really good matchups last night. But the Mustangs and the Wolves move forward. And Lincoln will be at Monroe. East Lincoln will be at home to take on Tuscola. Yeah, 10-1 Tuscola. Should be some good ones next week. Thanks for tuning in. For Brett, Mike, I'm David. See you next week.